It's that time. Welcome to Roadmap. How to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week we interview a great agent who's consistently taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week. And we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. Let me introduce my co-host from San Diego, Miss Carly Hathaway. That's carlyhathaway.com. Hi, Carly. How's the real estate business?
Hi, everybody. Real estate is fabulous. Tons of new construction going around, so great time to be a listing agent.
That's right. Good deal. Glad to hear it. They'll keep building those houses and you keep selling them. Before I introduce our guest today, I want to remind everyone that we are also simulcasting the show on the private Lead Gen group on Facebook. They have over 52,000 members, so we have a large audience there today as well. We'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the Lead Gen folks. So let me introduce our guest today from St. Cloud, Minnesota, Mr. Chris Hauck. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show.
Ren, great to see you.
Glad you're here.
Thank you so much for being with us, Chris. So quickly, I just want to ask you, can you walk us through a typical day in the life of Chris? What time you wake up? What time do you start prospecting? All that good stuff.
Yeah, Carly, I'd be happy to do that. Typically, I'm up at 4 o'clock, and first thing in the morning, we're working on something that has to do with business, goals, objectives, life plans, that kind of thing. And then from there, quick workout for about an hour, hour and a half, and then we'll be in the office by about 7:45 and meet quickly with my staff, do a role play for about 20 minutes, and then from there, get on the phone or prospect until about 11:30.
You know, we lost a bunch of people when you said I'm up at 4. But so just to help people realize why they may want to do that, or at least move in that direction. Let's say starting next week, you couldn't get into the office until 9. How much of a hit to your income would that be?
You know, if I didn't get into the office till 9, Ren, that would mean I really wouldn't be up and going until probably 9:30 at the earliest, more likely 9:45 or 10. And then if you take a couple calls in the interim, you really aren't going until about 11 o'clock. So what would happen is, yeah, I bet you my income would drop by 60% or more.
Wow. So even if people will just like, what's the old rule, just starting next week, start 1 hour earlier than you are now. And then if 6 months from now, notch that to 1 hour earlier again.
Yeah, I mean, start with 20 minutes or half an hour.
What is that? So, I mean, you're not up till midnight watching late night TV. What, you know?
No, typically I'm calling it a day about 9:30.
So, you know, it starts the evening before.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you know, today starts last night.
Yeah. Good.
And it depends, I mean, you know, if you're out late and if you're out partying or something like that, tomorrow morning might not be quite so good.
Yeah, and to be on the listing side of the business, we have to be early. I mean, how does that help you? You know, talking to somebody at 8 o'clock versus at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
Well, I mean, some people aren't going to be available.
Yeah.
You need to get in touch with them, or somebody's already been contacted by somebody else. You know, it pays to be first.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the expert. So can you give us a little tip for, so newer agents or agents that haven't made these phone calls and they mostly run their business on referrals in the past.
Yes.
When you're waking up early, you're getting in and you're calling the expireds and you're just getting beat up on the phones and you're not getting through, what kept you going in the beginning when you started this? How'd you
There's a number of tricks you can do. I mean, the first one is the first call is always the hardest to make. So just start with the second call.
That's a good idea. Start with the second call.
You know, I mean, some tips and some tricks. I mean, if you've got a day where you're just really having a hard time getting started, you know, you should have your list of your raving fans, your best past customers. And if you're having a day where it's really tough, call a couple of them. they're really happy. Just a quick call. How you doing? Good to see you. God, I'm glad to hear you guys love the house. And it'll get you off to a good start.
Good idea. I like that advice.
The other thing is the role playing in the morning is very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does it, help you get accustomed to the script, but what it does is it really gets you on track for the day. I mean, I've had days where I come in at, 7:45, and I just really didn't feel like prospecting.
So, Chris, wait. How long? You're role playing still? You role play.
Oh yeah, we still role play.
Okay,
We've been doing it for years.
so the people are watching like, well, doesn't he know the script by now? How many years have you been doing this?
43.
Don't you know the script by now? So help them understand why you do that.
Well, a good example is about 2 weeks ago, I was role playing with one of my partners in Colorado. And you know what? It was a gorgeous, beautiful summer day. And it's the first really nice one we had. And there were a lot of other places I really kind of wanted to be instead. But we got about 10 minutes into the role play. And, it's just like the switch flipped. I was ready to go, ready to get on the phone, get my job done. And it was a very, very productive day. Without the role play, it might not have been so.
Yeah. You notice that the role play, and Carly, I know you've been doing this too. On the days we have our strongest role play partners is some of our strongest performance, because it's an attunement, and that switch he's talking about just flips, and all of a sudden you're like, it's showtime, and you jump in and full game. It's just huge.
Mm-hmm.
That role play is an important piece in it, and you learn a little things where you're reminded of something that you forgot, or somebody that's role playing with you gives. I mean, I hear little things. I'm like, gosh, I wish I knew that 20 years ago. You learn some new little nugget that you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's lots of little things, Ren. Sometimes you develop a quirk or a bad habit. I mean, your role play partners call you out on that and say, well, why in the world are you doing this all of a sudden?
Yeah. And it can happen to the best of us, even if you've been doing it a long time. Chris Hauck walked over to me one day, and I said, what are you doing that I need to do? And he goes, I'm whale hunting on Friday. And I go, what's that? He goes, I call the high end on every Friday. I purposefully call it because what he said he was doing was he noticed every year he would get one or two properties in the upper end, and they would usually sell. And it was a nice little $25,000 bump. Well, I did it. And a few months later, I had an extra $50,000, $75,000 thanks to Chris. So you learn tips and things in this process.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think too, it also gets you kind of in the mindset and ready to call, because it's like having a partner that you go to the gym with. Yeah. You're not going to flake on the gym that day because they're there waiting for you. So you're not going to skip prospecting on Thursday morning because your role play partner is there waiting for you. Get on the phone, do your role play with them, then you're in the mindset to keep it going.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And consistency is just critical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agree. And
has anything changed, Chris? You've been doing this a long time. Has anything really changed? You're saying the same words to different people many years later and starting at the same time and doing. Has anything really changed?
Can I give you a couple examples of prospecting?
Yeah.
Things that have happened that might be helpful for somebody that's thinking it might not be necessary?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one day my sister-in-law dropped off her son for my wife to take care of for the day. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's good morning, good to see you, Dee Dee. Have a great day. I got to the office. First person on my call sheet was Dee Dee. And I thought, well, I've already talked to her. I mean, why should I call? And I thought, well, it wasn't a business call. So I called her up and I said, Dee Dee, good morning, and ha, 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 long time no talk. And then I said, well, do you have time for a really quick business call? I said, is there anybody new at your organization that may need a house? And she said, I could hear her yelling across the room, Jake, did you buy a house yet? And he goes, no. She goes, we got a new manager. Here, talk to him.
No way.
I mean, everybody is so busy with their personal life that you need to touch base on a regular basis to let them help you.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
The real estate's a contact sport, but yet we have people that come into the business. They after 90 days, they think they have it all figured out, and they're going to start doing marketing on social media. Is that really the secret? I don't think so.
Well, it can keep you really busy. I don't know if it'll make you
Yeah, that busy word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And so, obviously you're making your calls in the morning, and then you're going on listing appointments in the afternoon. How long does your typical listing appointment take?
typical listing appointment, 20 to 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So you keep it tight. Why do you think it's better to keep it short like that than rather than just hang out and, for 2 hours and,
It's more productive.
Yeah.
I mean, why do
Because
it
he can do 5 in a day that way,
Yeah. So are you pre-calling these people before you go to listing appointment?
Yes.
Okay. And your pre-call is strong, I'm sure. Do you end up canceling and not going if you get the right information?
Occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And then occasionally I get out on an appointment and I'm sitting there at 7 o'clock at night wondering, why in the world am I sitting in this chair? If I'd asked the questions yesterday, I wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. Wasting your time.
And you know why they don't do that? They don't want to know, because then they won't have an appointment.
Exactly. Sometimes you get too excited that you actually got the listing appointment and you don't even want to ask the pre-call questions because it's probably not even going to be a good one.
At the same time, it's just critical. Very important to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the goal this year? How many units? How many transactions?
Goal is 130 units.
130 units. What
Yes.
kind of money is that?
Well, we are in a relatively inexpensive market.
Uh-huh.
So that will probably be somewhere between 900 and potentially it could be just hitting into the 7 figures.
Nice.
I'm weeping for you. I'm just so sad.
That could be real exciting.
That's a good, exciting thing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. When you've been doing this for 43 years, you said.
That's correct, yes.
How did obviously you have the scripts internalized. You could probably say them forward, backwards in your sleep. How did you get them down quickly when you started prospecting?
It's a secret.
It is?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's very unique. It's called practice.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and a lot of people go, I don't like the sound of a script. No, you don't like the sound of a poorly done script. If it's a good script, they don't know it's a script. So.
Well, that's the big part of it is if you internalize it, it's no longer a script. It's a series of events that lead up to a listing taken.
Yeah, a very predictable and duplicatable process.
Absolutely.
So, anything else you want to share that will help that person? They're taking one listing a month and they're working their database and they're telling the world on Facebook about their business and and they're struggling to get that listing a week instead of a listing a month. What else should they think about?
It's interesting, Ren. So far, a computer hasn't listed a house with me yet.
So it's a contact sport. It's humans. Got to move our lips.
You got to talk to people.
Okay.
Yes. And, be in touch with people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do you have a number of contacts you try to reach per day, like a goal?
Well, the goal is 30 to 35 a day.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
And we will typically hit that number.
Okay, good. And do you just stay on the phones until you do? Oh, is that one of your contacts now? Is that
Actually,
a FSBO?
That's one of the people I called this morning. So
I want to thank you so much for being here. This is really helpful, Chris, and excited to share this with everybody because they're going to get some good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That consistency piece carries the day, obviously. Makes you wealthy. Healthy, wealthy, wise. You remember that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? He's won that show for 43 years.
Chris has got it.
Every year for 43 years, he's the $1 million winner.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It just, it happens over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Never stop prospecting.
So everybody, I want to thank everybody for being here. If you're watching on the Vulcan7 network and you want to get involved with the Lead Gen Facebook group that simulcasts this show on Facebook, they're at facebook.com/groups/got objections. And I want to thank Aaron Wittenstein, who runs that group. He has a program called trajectorynow.com. And if you're watching on Facebook and you're not yet involved with Vulcan7, make sure to sign up at vulcan7.com/lead gen for a special deal. And then finally, I have Chris Hauck's secret. You wonder how he does it. You know, that $1 million a year just kind of floats in from, working from 4 a.m. But really, some of it's the accountability and the role play partners that flip that switch. But this is what flips the switch for Chris Hauck. He goes and gets delicious Graeter's mint chocolate chip ice cream. This is the one for taking listings. This is the one he enjoys after 3.5 hours of prospecting. He digs in and does that. And if you do this every day, you will take a lot of listings too. If the listing is slow to sell, dig a hole in the ground and bury it upside down, and it will sell just like that. So the other flavors, those are, like Rocky Road. That's for working with buyers. Rocky Road, get it? So we'll see you guys next week. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, co-host Carly. And thank you, Chris Hauck, for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Carly. Thanks, Ren.
Thank you. See you next week, everybody.